Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Good morning, friends. We officially made it to the weekend. It is Friday, January 11th. This is Tony Tone, Hy-Vee Today. We have some snow in the forecast sometime between today and Sunday. We will get a little bit of snow to more than a little bit of snow. It will happen at a certain time. Did I do a good job forecasting the weather? Because that's what I feel like. If you pay attention even just a little bit to the forecast this week, it's gone from Snowmageddon on Friday to maybe it'll snow on Saturday to now we're probably going to get some snow, but it'll probably be on Saturday and it'll be inches of snow showing up in the Muscatine area. Here's what we know. A couple things. It's January. We live in Iowa. We just gave Sheriff C.J. Ryan the smallest Starbucks I've ever seen in my life. What am I? That's okay. We'll get to that in a second. Perfect. I should have ordered. I don't know how to call out the sizes at Starbucks. This is great. So it is going to snow this weekend. Please keep that in mind. And we also, Betsy, I need you to get some loaded jumbo blueberry muffins. Our friend Megan Francis with Sunnybrook paid for a thing of muffins for the sheriff and for the Media Tree Hy-Vee Today crew. Yeah, in the bakery probably, if that's where I would think muffins were, Betsy. But that's just me. That's a hot take. Coming out of the gate punchy this morning, the old tone dog, wound for sound. All right, let's get to our first guest. He's here, no stranger to the show. Your friend and mine, Muscatine County Sheriff C.J. Ryan. I want to say that I reached out to you. It's been a couple weeks, easily, that I reached out, and I said, can you come back on the show? We looked at a date. We arrived on the date, which is today, Friday, January 11th. Good to see you, by the way.
Yeah, great to be on.
I hope you like what you got from Starbucks.
I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean,
for probably take a little
for
longer
scale, this is very appropriate because we've always wanted to go as twins for Halloween. You playing Arnold Schwarzenegger, me playing Danny DeVito.
Right. Well,
and this is very appropriate.
Budget, I can tell you.
I need a bigger budget for the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Jim Simmons? We need a larger budget. I just saw him around here. So what I want to say to people first and foremost, because if people are going to watch the show today, tonight, or this weekend, they would think, well, maybe it's obvious that he's talking to the sheriff. But we had this appearance booked for a couple weeks, and then your department, Sheriff, has had a heck of a week. I want to start with just how's everybody doing in the department, because obviously you train for this job. You've experienced a lot in your time with the sheriff's office and being the sheriff. But when you have kind of you've sort of run the gamut of things that have happened this week. Well, so how's everybody doing at the sheriff's office?
Well, everybody's doing fine, and we'll always do fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very, very busy week for us, and when we have a busy week, it's usually because of some unfortunate circumstance.
Correct.
So on Monday night, late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, we had a death investigation that we began. We had a young lady, 20 years old. Her name is Leah Ponce, and she was found deceased on Highway 38 just north of Muscatine. So my investigators have probably been in bed for a couple hours and were called back out to that scene.
Jeez Louise.
Worked from that point in time all the way through the day, all the way into the night. Mm-hmm. Went home to try and get a couple hours of sleep and probably go back to work. So Tuesday night we had a kidnapping and a robbery situation that was called in at about 1 o'clock in the morning. So they got little to no sleep and we're back out on another felony investigation. So they've been working tirelessly through the week.
Also a couple accidents on 38 and F70, right? I mean, there's
well, those are things. Yes, there was, and those are things that just pile on.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's been, and not that it was in your jurisdiction, so to speak, but there was a car fire in the mall parking lot.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a Hummer or SUV that had caught on fire. The thing I'll say when stuff like that happens, and I appreciate the fact that there were 18 different videos of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. When stuff like that happens, get out of the way first and foremost. If you can film, it feels weird saying you're filming somebody's car on fire.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so bad for whatever happened there, but no matter what the circumstance is, and you can speak to this, when you're doing your job, the last thing you want, and it's not that you're against people filming or taking pictures, it cannot interfere with what you're trying to do.
Right, and I mean, we're very aware of the fact that we live in an age of instant media. Pretty much anybody that has a cell phone has, a video recorder there, or the ability to go live like what we're doing here.
Sure.
We don't care if people film us. We're out in the public eye, and we work for the public, so we don't care if people film us. We're in a situation where we film everything that we do.
Yeah.
So they certainly have a right to film us, and we don't care about that. But yeah, we don't need them to be right in the middle of what we're doing and interfering either. So
sure. So with the death of Leah Ponce, right, 20 years old, tragic situation, and the misinformation game is something that it's hard to. I was going to say it's hard to control, and that's maybe not the right word. Things get out, people listen to a scanner, they try and piece things together, it gets online, and I'm not saying that it's always wrong, but I know that that's also something that you have to be kind of aware of between that story, which is very unfortunate, and I feel terrible for her family, and I hope that we can kind of figure this out after the autopsy, but then that kidnapping issue as well. Things get posted online. I saw a comment from someone that maybe shared information that they were privy to that they maybe shouldn't have. I mean, talk about the sensitivity of that, and then how the department tries to react to misinformation, because you can't certainly reply to everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's always information out there, and there's oftentimes misinformation out there. We're kind of at a disadvantage because when we're conducting an active investigation, that's something that we can't talk about publicly. Correct. Okay? And it's not to our advantage most of the time to talk about it publicly because we don't want to reveal details of what took place. So certainly when we get to the point where we can release those details, we do. I can tell you that both of these cases, the death investigation that we started on Monday evening and the robbery investigation that we started on Tuesday evening, I will guarantee you that we will bring those both to a successful conclusion. I'm going to be meeting with the county attorney after I finish the show today.
Okay.
We hope to be releasing press on both of those cases today, and I think that we're going to have successful outcomes in those cases.
And that's just it. Like, you're not here to scoop anything. We had this scheduled already. It's just been a very busy week, and that's the way that this thing kind of played out. Typically, January, and one of the things that I had written down on my paper is seems like the winter would typically mean a slowdown in your business. Now, crime, suspicious activities, people doing wrong, it's not a seasonal thing, but it seems like it is heightened, or it does spike more during the summer for whatever reason. Do you feel like because of this weird winter that we've had, does that play any role in this at all, or is that just a weird conspiracy that I'm...
No, I mean, generally you're correct. When we're knee-deep in snow, it seems like things slow down to some degree, except for the vehicles in the ditch and things of that nature when we get bad weather. But yeah, we do get a little bit of a hiatus.
Sure.
People don't seem to want to be outside acting up when it's 20 degrees below zero. They do a little bit more of that in the summertime.
Sure.
But you're right, crime doesn't take a vacation, so there's always something going on.
With what's happened this week, you certainly have the resources with the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office. And again, I'm not trying to get any additional information out of you, but did you have any chances to utilize your canines, or I don't know what you can talk about, what you can't talk about. I don't want to, you're going to talk to Alan Ostergen and you'll put out information soon. I'm not saying give me any of the details. Zach Lane's been on the show, certainly. I just wonder, I mean, you have all the resources, certainly the forensic stuff, but sometimes people don't understand, their experience with Muscatine County Sheriff might be they get a speeding ticket, and that's that, right? Don't speed. I mean, I've done that. Guilty, right? But when it comes to some of these more serious events that happen, that's where it's important to have things in your budget that allow for you to have a canine or to have the newest forensics so that you can help bring resolution to these cases, correct?
Well, I have 4 investigators.
Okay.
So 2 of those investigators work full-time narcotics, and 2 work what we call general crimes. So when we get a felony crime, such as a death investigation or a kidnapping investigation, really I have 2 detectives.
Okay.
that can go work that case. I will guarantee you neither one of those two individuals got much sleep this week.
Right.
So they've pretty much been going nonstop. I'm very proud of the work that they've done, but you have to be very aware of the fact that we don't do this on our own. So whenever we have something of this nature take place, we need help and we need resources from other places.
Sure.
So, you know, from the outset, we've had assistance from the Iowa State Patrol. We have state agents that come in and have assisted us from the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation. These cases have spanned over counties. So we've had assistance from Scott County, Johnson County, Lynn County, and police agencies inside those counties.
Sure.
So this is nothing that we do on our own. And when we get a crime of this nature, we will bring every resource at our disposal to bear until we get a successful conclusion.
Yeah, this is go time, right? I mean, this is when everybody comes together and makes a good effort so that you can, I mean, you think about the families, right? I think that's what's often lost. You talk about kidnapping or someone that passed away, you feel bad for the individual, but really the families that are dealing with this because they were here one day and they're gone the next. I mean, it's such a drastic change in their lives. And then it's a whole investigation that has to begin for your department. I want to back up. 2018 seemed like, as far as your department doing the right thing, community outreach, being involved, seemed like it was a very good year for the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office. You were helped out in a lot of great causes. I mean, how many bicycles did you guys buy for Viola Werner and her crew that help out Salvation Army? Was it?
Well, we finished that up on December 9th.
Yeah.
That was the Toys for Kids drive.
Right.
And that's the conclusion of that is we take all the bikes out to Krieger's and have kind of a big deal out there. So this year we were able to raise funds to purchase 28 bicycles.
Wow.
And you can see the picture there of the donation taking place. But we had a lot of great support from the community, and that helps us raise that money to do that for the kids, and that's a great thing. Community outreach is one thing that we're huge at. So we don't just want to police the community, we want to become part of the community.
Correct. Yeah, you want people in the county to know that you're here for them. And it can go such a long way when you're able to take a vehicle or two, bring it to an event, park it, and let young people, and even for their parents or just folks that show up, when you have those opportunities to ask questions, introduce yourself, that goes such a long way, doesn't it?
Well, when we get into situations, unfortunately, like what we were in this week,
right.
And we need to be out talking to people in the community, getting cooperation from people in the community, it's much, much easier to do that because they know us.
Right.
We've gone out and done these community outreach programs with them, and it's very, very easy for them to talk to somebody because they say, well, I know Captain Quinn Reese that works at the Sheriff's Office,
yep.
or I know Detective Hoare that works at the Sheriff's Office. They've met them before, they're members of the community, and they feel comfortable talking to them.
Yeah, and that's right. When an investigation is underway, like the two that you have currently, hopefully there is that trust that the public has, you know, that they want to do the right thing and that they trust that they can reach out. Because a lot of times I imagine people always want to do the right thing, but sometimes they're just worried, you know, can I reach out and things be confidential and, you know, of a discreet, private manner? And the answer is always yes, right? I mean, if you feel like you're going to do the right thing, we want you to do it.
I think you're right. I think there's a level of apprehension about contacting law enforcement or whether or not the information they provide will be confidential. And it's just much, much easier if they're not reaching out to someone who's anonymous to them. They're reaching out to someone that they know and they trust.
Yeah. With 2019 being here, I wonder, do you have any plans to add staff? How are you? I mean, have you had anybody that ended their, you know, that retired maybe at the end of 2018, or their opportunities to grow the department with 2019 starting?
Well, we had an open position. We filled it on December 3rd.
Okay.
So on December 3rd, Sheridan Billhorn became the newest Muscatine County Deputy Sheriff.
Okay.
He's pictured there on the screen.
Big guy.
He is. He's a big guy.
Not going to run from that guy.
He's.
What's his last name? Did you say Billhorn?
Billhorn.
How are you not a sheriff's deputy with the last name Bill?
So,
Deputy Billhorn.
And
he was made for this, right?
He comes to us with 13 years of law enforcement experience.
Wow.
So he was at the Cedar Falls Police Department.
Okay.
He worked for the Iowa Department of Transportation Enforcement Unit. And then most recently, he was at the Muscatine Police Department.
Excellent.
So he's a very, very skilled officer. He's certified in many areas. He's also an instructor in many different areas.
Cool.
He was really excited to come on board with the sheriff's office, and we're really excited to have him.
Yeah, and he just looks tough and like he knows what he's doing. Everybody's got a cool name, you know? Sheriff Ryan, Deputy Bill Horn, Honorary Deputy Tone. Right?
You could do that. Shaq does that.
Yeah, Shaq. Right. Have you ever deputized someone? No. A public figure? If you'll have it.
That might be a first.
Yeah,
we might have to do it here at some point.
I'm in. What would I get? A sword? What do you give out?
You know, you've got experience from growing up, right? You grew up in a law enforcement household.
I do. Yep.
You were probably in trouble a lot.
No, that's the thing. You know this. You have kids. I'm sure your kids were never in trouble. Could you imagine if now listen, I had friends that did stupid stuff. I was always either, I'm not going to go with you to egg a house. I don't want to do that. Or I'm far enough away to where I'm not going to get caught. But I never really did anything bad because my dad's a Chicago cop. And, yeah, a little intimidating, right? So, and I hope that even though I'm not in law enforcement, I teach my kids right from wrong. But no, I never found myself. I'm happy to say, knock on this countertop, that I have not been arrested in my 35 years.
Well,
the worst thing
me
I've gotten
either,
is a speeding
but I can tell you, growing up, you know, my path in life is maybe I wasn't so good all the time.
Sure.
But I found that every time I did something wrong, I got in trouble. So
that's correct.
I thought, you know, if you can't beat them, you might as well join them.
Right. You have ascended to the highest rank too as sheriff, which is great. How many years do you have left under this current run? It just was a couple years ago when you got reelected, but are you?
Yeah, this current term runs through the end of 2020.
Okay, and then get ready to seek it again, right?
Yeah.
You're here to announce that today. Here we go.
That's. I was thinking that maybe you would come on board and be my chief deputy.
I was just gonna say, well, I think Ardith would be okay with that. What do you think?
I don't know. She might be upset about it.
Well,
she might be watching and going, "You're giving my job away."
I don't want to take Ardith's job. Ardith's very good at her job.
She is. She's tremendous.
Not to put you on the spot, but have you thought about that? There is a very nice Sue Ryan watching. I wonder if Sue might be putting me up to this question. I don't know. Have you given thought about 2020 and what'll be after that for CJ Ryan?
Well, my wife retired.
Right.
And she's kind of the force behind this right now, because she says, I retired so you can't. So
awesome.
That's the world that I live in.
That's good.
So
you're a very good husband in that capacity.
Well, she's been sick for a week, so I've been a nurse. And I'm not a very good nurse, but I've been trying to do that.
You're very caring, though. I mean, you offered to get me a Starbucks when you got here. You were here before I was. Very generous. I appreciate
I always
that.
do all that for you, Tony.
You do. Zach Lane, Deputy Lane, on Facebook, saying, Honorary Deputy Tony Tone, when do you want to do a ride-along? I've never done a ride-along, Sheriff.
Seriously?
Would love to do a ride-along. I mean, with my dad, but those are probably scary.
Were you in the back seat?
Well, one time, but that's a whole other story. And then Zach says, would you put the bite sleeve on for Nico? The answer is yes. I've said that I'll put the bite sleeve on.
Well,
I'll do it.
That should definitely be on video.
I'm happy to do it. I think I'm DJing Zach and Diana's wedding. I'm happy to put the bite sleeve on at the wedding. Let's do it at the reception.
And there's Diana. Diana's on screen with Zach. Much, much better looking than Zach. But I don't know what you can say about that.
It's so important, and it's a great picture to have up for a second, because when we talk about the men and women with the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office, and quite frankly all law enforcement, that are choosing to have this career, and there's another great shot, whether they are married or dating, that significant other plays such a vital role, Sheriff, that support that they have to have. You know this firsthand. But even folks like Zach, who's a little bit younger, they understand that very quickly. Your spouse is essentially all in with you when you choose this lifestyle career.
It's tough, especially during weeks like what we just went through.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I came up, right? So I was a detective. I was involved in investigations, and when you get cases like this, you go to work and you don't go back home for a long, long time.
Sure.
So definitely the spouses are worried about you. Oftentimes they're not very happy with you because you've gone 2 or 3 days and you don't have any sleep.
Sure.
And for some reason they don't think that's right.
Right. Yeah.
But when we're looking at the case as investigators, and we go, well, when are we going to go home? The answer is usually, we'll go home when the work's done.
The work's done, right.
And sometimes it takes a long time to get the work done, but these are very, very important cases, and we don't have the luxury of working 8 hours and then going home and saying, let's just pick this up tomorrow. So.
Correct, and that's what I think is, again, it's important to keep that in mind when we have a week like we've had, where there is a lot going on, for every week that is quiet or business as usual, and I use that term very loosely, right? I mean, it's never usual when you're keeping people safe and patrolling the county. It's a very large county. There's a lot going on. But I just hope that people will keep that in mind. And of course, with, some snow or wintry weather on the way, we always want people to pay attention when they're on the roadways, especially on some of these county outer-lying roads where things can get a little dicey, right?
Well, and we want people to use caution. We haven't had that much snow this year, or
Sure.
snow events or ice, and so they need to slow down. Speed is the number one factor. It's just the snow comes and people don't slow down, and then all of a sudden they're in the ditch.
Right.
So, obviously we want them to slow down with this snow event coming over the weekend.
Is there anything else that you want me to mention as we look ahead? And we just had, what do we have? National Law Enforcement Day the other day, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for what you do. I don't feel like, I don't want people to think that I'm dismissive of this. You and I have a good rapport and a good friendship. I certainly appreciate what law enforcement does. It seems like we could recognize y'all more than just one day a year. You'd probably be okay with that.
We didn't really get into the job
Right.
to get thanks or
I
to get a
understand.
pat on the back
Sure.
every day.
Sure.
We do what we do to protect the citizens because that's how we're built. That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So it is always nice though to hear thank you.
Sure.
At some point, but we don't go around expecting it. Obviously, we do have some community outreach things coming up.
Yeah.
As we get into the spring and hopefully out of the snow, we always have the special needs Easter egg hunt, and so we always try and participate in that every year. It should be coming up at some point in time in April. On February 12th, there's an event at the Mississippi Brew.
Yep.
It's called Love Shouldn't Hurt. It's kind of a musical event. It starts at 5 p.m. and 20% of the proceeds from that event will go to support the domestic violence shelter.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we're always very strong on supporting the victims of domestic violence. Oftentimes those are women and they have children with them, so the domestic violence shelter serves a very vital role in our community.
I care about that place a lot. We'll have, I think it's Mahaley. I might be saying her name wrong. That organized this.
Right.
Judy Yates, who runs the shelter, they'll both be on the show coming up because, yes, I sit on the fundraising board for their annual fundraiser, which is April 6th. Save the date for that. But I'm glad that you mentioned that. Love Shouldn't Hurt coming February 12th. Also, February 12th, the same date as the Special Olympics versus Muscatine Fire and Police basketball game. I don't know why it's not Muscatine Fire, Police, Sheriff's Office. I feel like you've got some talented basketball players on the team.
Well, I'm not one of them.
Well,
but
maybe I don't want to assume.
maybe Sheridan Billhorn.
Right.
Much taller than what I am.
Between Quinn and Sheridan, holy moly. Force to be reckoned with.
But we do, we love Special Olympics. We
Absolutely.
work with Special Olympics all year long. And so too, on Saturday, March 2nd, Fruitland Fire Department having their annual soup supper. That also opens at 5 p.m. We always support volunteer fire in the area. Certainly with the events that have taken place in Clinton. We had Lieutenant Eric Closette, unfortunately passed away in the ADM fire up there. Firefighter Adam Kane,
Yep.
Still in the hospital in Iowa City in very serious condition. I've known Adam's father for years.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
He worked on the Clinton County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
And so certainly our prayers are with Adam Kane and the family of Lieutenant Hosette as well. On Saturday, March 23rd, West Liberty Fire Department having a benefit for one of their members, Kurt Newcomb. Kurt Newcomb is a great guy. He's given years and years to public service in the West Liberty area. Unfortunately, he has a cancer situation that he's dealing with. So West Liberty Fire Department on Saturday the 23rd having a benefit for him. And so certainly if people can get up there and attend that or donate to that, that's a very worthwhile cause also.
You talk about what happened in Clinton, and I did see some pictures, and there were a lot of people that were traveling on Interstate 80 with different various fire departments, police departments, sheriff's offices on each overpass showing support. And when something like that happens, unfortunately, sometimes people think, well, it's in Clinton, that's far away. It doesn't matter where it happens at. It doesn't matter if it happens in Iowa or Illinois or this part of the country. You still feel it because that brotherhood is real. It's a real thing that exists. Brotherhood or sisterhood, I should say, right? I mean, it's something that is felt because this role is a unique one. That being said, there are, if you look at the United States as a whole, there are a lot of police officers, firefighters, sheriff's deputies, EMT workers, but it's not that common either. I know I'm contradicting myself. So when something like that happens in Clinton, your department feels it, and it's the last thing that you want to have to deal with, no matter which police officer, sheriff's office, fire department. But just talk about that, because I think that's probably something that people wonder, well, why is there such an outpour when we're all the way over here?
Law enforcement's a community. Obviously, the fire service is a community also. And trust me, the fire service and law enforcement will give each other grief all day long, right? But it's good-natured. So we bring both those families together. We're the public safety family.
Right.
And so if we have a death in the fire service, we will definitely have every fire department in Muscatine County that's going to be involved in trying to help out with that, and help those families and help the Clinton community and the Clinton Fire Department. And law enforcement will do the same thing. Yep. So if we have a law enforcement death, we often have the fire service and all forms of public safety show up to respect that as well. And we are a brotherhood. That's the way it should be. We should all be working together to help the communities, and they do. But there's really a steep tradition inside the law enforcement community and the fire community that if one of our members is seriously injured, if God forbid we have a death, they will all come together to help each other out. And that's a great thing to see. It should be that way. It's unfortunate when we have to put on that display, but we do it out of respect. Whether you're a member of the fire service or law enforcement, the people that wear that uniform, we have great respect inside the public safety community for anyone that does that for their community.
It's a beautiful thing when you can see that outpouring of support. It was our friend of the show, West Liberty Police Chief Kerry Kinmuth, who had some pictures on his Facebook and on the West Liberty PD Facebook of those overpasses along Interstate 80, and I understand firsthand why it makes sense to have that support and that network that exists. It's very real, right? And it's the worst case scenario. You don't want it to happen. Is this some video from the other day? Okay.
This is, when you think about this, they basically came all the way from the Des Moines area back home to Clinton, so miles and miles and miles of Interstate 80. I think every overpass that they went by had people from the fire service, people from law enforcement. It's a very sobering thing to see. It's a very cool thing to do for all the wrong reasons, right? You never want to be there and have to do it.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, I mean, this is like, it's great to see the support, but you hate the reason behind it.
Right.
But it's powerful, to say the least.
It's just a very, very powerful and impressive thing to see, and then it's also something that you hope you never have to see.
Right. Nice message on Facebook from Austin Conaway, Conesville Fire. Thanks CJ and his staff for all they do to help us on our scenes. Right, again, Conesville Fire. I mean, there's so many volunteer. That's what struck me the most. I've been in Muscatine 6 years. Certainly, I've been an Iowan since 2002, but really, since I've been in Muscatine, have I understood volunteer fire.
Right.
Because again, as I've said to you, when I see a fire, I want to call 911. The last thing I think about is taking action. If I can go in and save a life, I'll try. But I don't have that instinct. I can't flip that switch. Well, when we have people that are volunteers, CJ,
these volunteer firefighters they're a special breed.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the people that are on our volunteer sheriff's patrol.
Yep.
They're going to go out and put themselves in harm's way, and for the great big fat paycheck of nothing.
Right.
But these volunteer fire services, they're what's there and protects their community. They're very, very important. They're vital inside their communities. That's why I always go to all their functions or try to attend all their functions, because they're trying to raise money to do good things inside their community, to get the equipment that they need to do their job properly. And volunteer fire is big in Muscatine County. It's well supported. But God bless those people that do that job, because they do it for nothing.
Right. I mean, nothing but respect for people that are volunteering their time. That 99% of the folks that are volunteer fire have another job, have a family, have a life, and they're just agreeing to go out there and make a difference. Some comments on Facebook that I want to get to before I let you go.
Okay.
Sue Ryan saying, if we go back a little bit, that he has my permission, Tony. I'm assuming Sue Ryan saying you have her permission to retire should you choose that. Let the record state. I just wanted to make that
You know
known.
what? You know what the problem is
What's
there?
that?
I always tell her, because trust me, she tries to order me around at home.
Right.
And
I feel like this is not a good thing.
No, I have
Right.
to explain to her that there's a difference between being the boss and just being bossy. And so that's something
I'm not touching this.
I'm trying to overcome it at home.
Nope. There's also a Caitlin Taylor watching who I'm sure is typing a comment to correct her dad. There's a difference between being the boss and being bossy. That's the hot take from today's show.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that when I get home.
Don't do that.
Okay. No. So we're not going on the record endorsing.
No, because Casey will not let you get away with that.
This is very true. Well, I'm glad that you're here to be the voice of reason, and I apologize for the week that you've had, because I know that it can be. And I apologize, and I don't mean like I feel sorry for you guys. I apologize that the world can have things happen like this. I mean, I know that I can't control it from happening. I can't prevent people from making mistakes. And I'm just so thankful that when someone is in distress, when someone makes that 911 call because, oh my gosh, there's what appears to be someone on the side of the road, or there appears to be someone that was kidnapped, whatever the example is, when that number is dialed, I'm so thankful that there's people like yourself and, locally with MPD and Muscatine Fire. It's just nice to know that you all are there, because I just hope people understand that we never want to get to a point where when you call 911, it just rings.
Well, this is another one of those weeks that really brings home and reiterates to me the fact of how thankful I am for my staff.
Sure.
They've done a tremendous job over the course of the week. Basically, I've told you they haven't slept for a week.
Yeah, no.
Not everybody wants to sign up for that type of job, but they've just literally done a tremendous job over the course of the last week. The investigations division and all the other agencies that have come to help us, because when we need help and we put that call out, we get the help that we need. Likewise, if another community needs help, we're always there for them. So,
because at the same time that all this is happening, you still have to keep patrolling the county. You still have to keep business running downtown. You still have to keep an eye on the jail.
Right,
and everybody that's there. So it's not like that one bad thing happens and then everything sort of stops. I feel like that's also a perception that exists. That's not the case.
Yeah, you have something like this that's very, very serious that happens, that's going to stretch your resources no matter what, and all the other things don't stop.
Correct.
So you still have to do all the other things, the day-to-day things. People don't quit committing other crimes because you're busy investigating something.
Right.
So we kind of take it as it comes, but really the people at work have done a tremendous job, so my hat's off to them.
Well, we look forward to any announcements that come from Alan Ostergen's office, and we'll look for that potentially later this afternoon. I'm sure whatever comes from that, it'll be disseminated to the local news and Quad City television stations. A lot of people paying attention to what's going on. Again, this is the guy right here that's here to tell you that if you're reading something on Facebook or on the internet, might not be true. Not that you're saying that, I'm saying that, and we'll get the facts soon, right?
Yeah, my goal is to have some press releases out today on both of those cases. So on the death investigation that we've been conducting and on the kidnapping case as well. So we will have that out today. I'm sure people will be very interested to see what we've come up with.
Okay.
And yeah, our goal is to have a successful conclusion of every case. That's what we're working towards here, and we will have some press out on it today.
Well, I appreciate your time. It's always great to have you here. And again, we had this scheduled for weeks, and quite frankly, my intention was to talk about more of the outreach and service, and then this happened. So I'm glad that you're able to be here, going on short sleep.
Thank you.
And a busy week. The last thing I'll say is that Caitlin Taylor, who is your daughter, saying on Facebook, and at first I thought I read this wrong, and then I just looked at it again, and it says, "You're old enough to retire. I thought she said you're not old enough to retire, but it says you're old enough to retire.
That's children's perception, right?
Right.
Their parents are always old, even if they're young like me.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think she just wants you to help babysit.
I don't.
Or dog sit.
I have some babysitting coming up to do for her, so.
That's good. All right, we're so glad and thankful that Caitlin has a job, by the way, where she can watch Hy-Vee Today. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm very appreciative.
Right. Yeah, how about that? There's a little added wrinkle to that one. Uh-huh. Hey, listen, Caitlin, you send a couple chairs our way, all is forgiven, right? We appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we appreciate donations. Donuts, muffins,
sure.
Starbucks.
Yeah, whatever you need. You know I'm here for you. You just keep coming on the show, and I'm happy to take care of you. I got some blueberry muffins right over there. Megan Francis bought those again. Let the record state. Not coming out of my budget. I'll get the world's smallest Starbucks. Yeah. But
Jim Simmons bought that. You didn't even buy it.
What's that?
This coffee.
Well, I mean, I still got to go pay for it. I have a tab. I shouldn't say that I have a tab. I have a tab for when the sheriff's on my show. And maybe when Governor Kim Reynolds comes back, I have a tab.
No, I tell you what, we always appreciate coming on because community outreach is big for us. So we're always happy to come on, talk to the public, be a part of the public events that are going on. I just think that's very, very important for our agency, so that's something that we stress. No, I'm glad that you stopped by, and I hope you have a good weekend and good luck with the investigations that are ongoing, and thank you for what you do. I appreciate it, pal. It's good to see you. Well, even when we get to the point where we try to come to an end, come to a conclusion, the work doesn't stop. I mean, we'll have weeks left of work, even if we have a conclusion. So we'll keep plugging away and doing what we do, and we're always happy to be on the show. I appreciate it. Stay tuned, Muscatine County Sheriff's Office on Facebook. Check out their website, and we'll keep you posted, of course, and keep reminding you about all the great additional community events. Fruitland Soup Supper on March 2nd, fundraiser for West Liberty Fire March 23rd. We'll talk more about those and invite some folks on the show, perhaps. Thank you, Muscatine County Sheriff C.J. Ryan. Let's go CBI Bank and Trust aisle cam, if we could, which is near Wine and Spirits. Also excited at this moment. I have some family in the store. I saw, there he is, Uncle. Speaking of people that are retired, they can't hear me. Uncle Scott Mills in the house. Spent 20 plus years for Hahn. Rose to the ranks of safety supervisor. Great guy. One heck of a amateur barbecuer. So maybe he's gonna try and barbecue something for me. I was gonna yell, but he's too far, and I don't want to yell. There's people in the store. We've got this 3-day sale. But it's great to see Uncle Scott, Aunt Jan, and then Abby, who must not have school today, which is one of my wife's cousins. And they're definitely checking out some fuel savers. Okay, so hey, listen, Wine and Spirits, right? Weekend's here. You need something. Maybe it's Michelob Ultra 24-pack. You can grab that if you're trying to watch your carbs. Good opportunity to cut some carbs and have an ice-cold beverage if you'll have it. Betsy or Cody, whoever wants to grab the Toyota Muscatine Car Cam today. First of all, today is Human Trafficking Awareness Day, which is very serious. I forgot to wear a blue shirt. People are encouraged to wear blue today for that. And I'm wearing a white shirt. And I haven't, if you watch the show, I have not worn a white shirt in a long time. I actually ironed this shirt this morning. I also haven't used my iron in a long time. So, and I didn't burn myself. Betsy, it's also National Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day. Will you consider jumping in a puddle? Have you ever accidentally been driving your car and hit a puddle and then the puddle splashed on somebody? Have you ever intentionally done that? Don't admit that. I've accidentally done that. I felt terrible. Ryan Broderson has intentionally drove through a puddle and splashed someone. Is that what we're hearing off camera? Okay. And Betsy, here we go. National Milk Day. Milk has certainly done this body good. Look at this. That's a skim milk body right there. What? Betsy, let's go to the dairy and show off some milk. Seems like the right thing to do. Jim Haskin, who runs the dairy department, does a... Betsy, wait a second. We lost you already. Hold on. Did you start up the cart camera? Sometimes you got to pull start. There we go. We got you, Betsy. You're good. As you were. The look I'm getting from Betsy right now says both, I'm annoyed with you, Tony. I'm tired, Tony. She had a giant Starbucks before the show started. She's on the back side of that Starbucks. It's wearing off. Look at how slow the cart cam's going. We're going to give you a citation for a slow cart cam.
Just go to the dairy. Sorry, she can still hear me. I should be more nice. My New Year's resolution to be nice to Betsy is I'm not doing the best. Here we go, into the dairy department. There's the thumbs up. As I was saying, Jim Haskin and his crew with the dairy, I'll tell you what, people are always buying eggs. People are always buying butter. Yeah, that's for you. Take it. It's paid for. Share or not. People are always buying eggs. People are always buying milk, juice. They're constantly restocking it. It's impressive to me. Just look at that. Look at how uniformed it is. Like, I think I have OCD sometimes. I would probably be pretty good at organizing that stuff. That's Lorna right there, Lorna Haskin. So Lorna and her husband, Jim, work together, and they're great people. National Milk Day, Delmer. I was just saying how milk does this body good. You were concurring. You were saying that, Tony, I know that milk has done your body good. You were just agreeing off camera. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad that you have my back and my side. And then more dairy fun there, of course. Whatever you need. Pack of hot dogs. Tell you what, folks. Had a couple meatballs last night. This is a true story. They were tremendous. Let's come back to me, Chad. It's all about me after all. Right, Ryan? So last night, I'm just kidding. I hope that you guys, sometimes I feel like, and by the way, record-setting day with people watching live on Facebook. Turns out the secret is just having Sheriff CJ Ryan, and I mean that. I keep an eye on my phone, and I can see how many people are watching at one point live, and Sheriff CJ Ryan setting the record. So he just set the bar right there. Last night, I'm going to give a shout-out. Went to the Muscatine History and Industry Center, downtown Muscatine. Haven't been in there in a while, which always makes me feel bad when I'm not in there. Wait a minute, you have headphones on the cart cam now so you can hear what I'm saying? Oh, that's not good. Why didn't you guys tell me? Is that a surprise? Oh, okay, good. You're all fired except Chad. You're all hired back. So what they could do is they could turn all the cameras off, and then the show would be over. So History and Industry Center last night, business after hours with the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That was Jam Media Solutions business after hours. I'm trying to get this all straight. It's a lot to say. So Jam Media Solutions, company from the East Coast that bought the place that I used to work, 93.1 Vintage Sound Radio. Why did I say it weird? Vintage Sound 93.1 FM, KWPC, Voice of Muscatine newspaper. Good event. I'm going to say over 50 people. I was there briefly. I had to come back to the store for a meeting. And I'll say this, at 6 o'clock last night, and I wish I could have stayed, they and I don't know if I can say this. Can I say it? What is Amazon going to fire me? They screened the episode of the adventure show Fireball Run that they filmed here in Muscatine like a year and a half ago. Remember they did that? They filmed the Amazon series. It's going to be premiering on Amazon Prime soon, and they showed the episode last night at Business After Hours, and I guess Muscatine is featured for about 13 to 15 minutes, which is a lot of time, by the way. That's a lot of time. Like, you think about how long 13 to 15 minutes of screen time is. I've been doing this show for almost an hour. Okay, that's a lot of me. So 15 minutes of Muscatine. Still going to wait for the date on when that'll premiere. I'll talk to Jody Hansen about it. But thanks to Jam Media Solutions and the Chamber, because the Chamber typically doesn't have a business after hours in January. It was great to be there. And here's where we get to the meatball portion of the story. They had some appetizers from my friend Sam Vitale with Sal Vitale's. And guess what the appetizers were? You're never going to believe it. Meatballs. I had a plate. I should have taken a picture. I had a plate with 2 meatballs on it, and then one of those tomatoes with some Asiago cheese. Betsy, I had a plate with meatballs on it last night, and you weren't there to document it. I almost asked if I could take some meatballs to go. What do you think they would have said? Nick Doy, they would have said yes. You just missed the boss. He was here a minute ago. You saw him? All right. He said he's buying whatever you got. Very good. Nick works at the jail. All right. Mike Macetic on Facebook, who is a longtime friend of mine from St. Ambrose, who has one of the big jobs with Frito-Lay, commenting right now, saying, do you carry barbecue Fritos? I don't know, Mike. That's a little bit of an insider pool right there. So growing up, my favorite snack time was barbecue Fritos. And we used to walk, and I can say this because there's not one in Muscatine. In Oak Park, Illinois, we used to walk to the 7-Eleven on Madison Street, and I would get a Slurpee. And, of course, the trick, if you ever get a Slurpee, is as you're filling it up, you tap the bottom of it, and then it creates some air bubbles, and you can fit more Slurpee in there. So tap the bottom. Whether it's an Icy or a Slurpee, this is an old fat kid trick. You tap the bottom, and you can fit more in there. So I would get a Slurpee, and I would get barbecue Fritos. I don't know if barbecue... I feel like barbecue Fritos exist, maybe just not in the Midwest anymore. My friend Mike, that, again, is like number 2 at the Frito-Lay Company. He might not be number 2. He's high up there. I think he lives in Hawaii. He's watching in Hawaii, ladies and gentlemen. He has shipped me to my house in Muscatine barbecue Fritos. Those are barbecue Fritos. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Betsy. Those are barbecue Fritos. So Mike Macetic, who, again, lives in Hawaii now, has a very good job at Frito-Lay. I would love if you want to send me more barbecue Fritos, and I would love to have them back here at Hy-Vee. They're a fantastic chip. Even for someone that's on a low-carb diet, I get it. I would, if there were a bag of barbecue Fritos right here, I would open them and just pour them. Barbecue Frito shower. That's what would happen. All right, we've got to get out of here. We got to take care of some business. Ryan Broderson, this is an exclusive. I sent it to you this morning. Nobody's seen this yet. Oh boy, a week from today, 1 week from today, if you love tenderloin sandwiches, and we're in Iowa, I feel like to be an Iowan, you got to have a tenderloin a couple of times a year, right? You got to have a tenderloin sandwich. So next Friday, 1 week from today, hand-breaded, I love how this ad looks. Shout out to our graphic designer, Jessica. She's marvelous. $1.99 for a hand-breaded tenderloin sandwich. This isn't frozen. This is hand-breaded. And as I said yesterday, I'm apparently going to be doing some of the hand breading with gloves on, okay? We're going to make 2,000 of these. We're going to sell 2,000 of these because they're $1.99. And Betsy, you could buy more than one. Betsy, you got enough money, you could buy 2 tenderloins. You could buy 2 tenderloins and a microphone. Where is it at? I got 2 tenderloins and a microphone. If you get that Beck reference, you're very welcome. Add a side for $1. Ryan Broders, and zoom in if you would. Muscatine mac and cheese. That's mac and cheese that you enjoy with a Busch Light. I don't know why it's called Muscatine mac and cheese. It must be a secret recipe. Baked beans, au gratin potatoes. If you would ask me to spell au gratin, I would misspell it every time, but I got it right. Mashed potatoes, and then a variety of vegetables. $1.99, secret recipe, coming in hot, one day, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. So if you're thinking to yourself, I want a tenderloin for breakfast next Friday, which I believe that date is the 18th, come to Hy-Vee and we'll get you taken care of. That ad will be on the back page of the Voice of Muscatine newspaper. I normally wouldn't show you the ad this early, but I did it and I hope that was okay. If the show isn't here on Monday, it wasn't okay to show you the ad. If Ryan is hosting the show, send me some money to the GoFundMe campaign if I get fired. Please look for that. I want to skip the Fuel Saver flyer. I want to go to I Do in aisle 2. We're doing a complete wedding inside the store for free. You get married with the ceremony performed by yours truly. We do the catering, the flowers, the cake, any other kind of dessert, the beverages. I will DJ your wedding for free. We'll have it live streamed. We're working on that with the Media Tree crew here. You'll stay that night, the 23rd. We've got you a room for the wedding couple at the beautiful Merrill Hotel and Conference Center in downtown Muscatine. We will not live stream that. Mary's Diamonds and Jewelry going to provide the groom's band, and it's just going to be fantastic. Get nominated if you want to share your story, even if you think it's ridiculous. That's fine. It's at least a $5,000 value. A complete wedding, up to probably 45 people can be invited. Hello, family. Hello, Millses. How we doing? Gave you some shout-outs earlier. You'll have to watch the show. It was all love for the most part. For the most part. 80% of it was love. 60% of it was love. Last 2 things, then the job board. Bingo coming in hot on Monday. This is one of those things that I scheduled a long time ago. The 14th of January felt like it was an eternity away, Cody, but it's here on Monday. We're playing bingo starting at 6 o'clock. It's free to play bingo. Bring the crew, family-friendly, $5 Hy-Vee gift card for each bingo that you win. I don't understand how tired Betsy is. You had a giant Starbucks. Did you not get enough coffee in it? What's happening? What is going on? Get her a double. Bingo on Monday, 6 o'clock. You're making me tired. Delmer, put her in the cooler. Monday the 14th. It'll wake you up. 6 o'clock till 7:15 or 7:30. I hope we caught that off my snort laugh. Come play bingo. And then on the 21st, please come play Game of Thrones trivia. Poor Betsy. She's so tired. Put her in the cooler, will you? Put her in the cooler. The cooler. How is your nickname not the cooler, by the way? Can we show Delmer, please? Your last name is Coolers. There he is. Wave to Cody's camera, please. Thank you. Hi, have you never been called the cooler before?
I've been called a lot of things.
He's been called a lot of things, is what he's saying. Okay. Do you like the nickname the cooler?
I do.
Okay. All right. The cooler. You heard it here first, folks. Delmer, the cooler coolers. Right here. Yes. Tony the Tone. Thank you. All right. Lokensol's just way too hard to pronounce. Should just legally... I have a last name, Delmer. I have feelings, too. On Facebook, Tammy saying that she misses the barbecue Fritos and to please bring them back. Okay. Well, Mike Macetic, send us all barbecue Fritos. I'm looking at Facebook on my phone. Game of Thrones trivia. Job board, we're out of here. Let's do it quick. Game of Thrones trivia, January 21st. Starts at 6 o'clock, free to play. Get a team together. Call us. Reserve your seat, 563-264-2420. A team can be 2. A team can be 12 people. Prizes for first, second, and third, including that one-of-a-kind hold the door doormat. Hold the door. Doormat. Not the best quality doormat, if I'm being honest. Bought it online, showed up at the house. It's kind of junk, but it's a novelty. Maybe you put it as the entryway to your bathroom. It's a free prize. I spent money on it. It is what it is. I probably could have, whatever. Just come to trivia night, will you please? What do I got to do? Juggle. I'll be juggling fire at trivia night and fixing my eyebrows. All right, job board, and let's get out of here, please. I've said too much. Team staffing on Lake Park Boulevard across from Happy Joe's, soon to be Cranky Tony's Pizza, with some opportunities for you to get to work, whether it's you or someone you know. You ever feel like just dancing, Betsy? Don't you just feel like, I'm getting real antsy. I don't know what it is. I think it's Friday. I think it's my wife's birthday tomorrow. I feel like I need to get her another present, but I got her a present already. Maybe I can give her my team staffing pen. Let's come back to this. First shift, Brooke, our friend, $12 an hour, 563-316-7636. Careers at teamssi.com. Up next, Ryan, before I get off subject again. Katie, this is one of those jobs that could change your life. Katie has an opportunity via TSI Enterprises. This is $18.75 an hour. $18.75 an hour. Just to give you some reference, Betsy makes $36 an hour, so you could almost make what Betsy makes. 563-316-9254. Call Katie or call Charity for this opportunity. This is brand new. It's a temporary HR admin gig, HRAA, if we're going to break it down a little bit. Call Charity 563-316-7633 at Team Staffing Solutions in Muscatine, across from, but not in, Happy Joseph's. Thank you to Muscatine County Sheriff C.J. Ryan, who is a friend of mine and a friend of the show and someone that I respect and that I admire. And again, I had this and I know I've said this a lot, but we scheduled this appearance with Sheriff Ryan to just kind of talk broadly, generally, about Sheriff's Office and things that are coming up or things that are going on. And then this week happened, and there was a lot of tough news in this town that we all live in. Even if you don't live in Muscatine, this is where I live and where I work. And when bad things happen, people like Sheriff C.J. Ryan and Ardith Slide and Quinn Reese and Zach Lane and even Nick Doy, who I called out, that works at the jail, those people are there when we need them to be there, and I appreciate them, along with Muscatine Police and Muscatine Fire and all of the outer lying communities. I'm glad that Sheriff Ryan agreed to be here. He very easily could have said no, too much going on. You heard what he said. Sheriff Ryan leaving Hy-Vee today to go talk to Alan Ostergen to put out some information connected to these two investigations that are going on. So I look forward to getting that update. And I know that this show can be a little light at times, but also when things are going on in the place that we all live, we have to talk about them. So I appreciate you watching, and everybody that tuned in live on Facebook. Again, a record amount of people. Thank you. Watch this show throughout the course of the weekend on Muscatine Power and Water, Channel 5, 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. We are booked out through almost the end of February. I think I have one date that I need to fill in between now and then. A lot of good shows coming up. New guests, people that have not been here, including Bradley Cooper. So stay tuned for that. Might not be true. Frank Fritz from American Pickers. Possibly, Frankie. Frank's a friend, but I don't want to bother him. I don't feel like I'm bothering him. He travels a lot for the show. I even told Frank, I'll send Ryan to pick you up. Ryan would go to Davenport to grab Frank, right? I would send Betsy, but she would just want to take a selfie with him the whole time. Isn't that right? Ryan Broderson has a selfie. Ryan, please, can you go to my Facebook page? I shared speaking of Frank Fritz, and this isn't planned, although it seems like it. This is the last thing we'll do, and then we'll get out of here. And I will say thanks to CBI Bank and Trust. It was great seeing B.O.B. Bobby Howard last night at Business After Hours. Bob Howard and I together, we could get into some trouble. We have a lot of fun together. B.O.B. Bob Howard. Great seeing Bob. Great seeing State Rep Gary Carlson. Hadn't seen Gary in a while. Had a good chat with him. A lot of folks that was good to see last night. Here we go. Thanks CBI Bank and Trust, Toyota Muscatine, and Team Staffing. This is from 9 years ago. By a show of hands, if you would like me to grow my hair out, please raise your hand. Chad keeping his hand down. Cody, okay, it's 3-1. Look at the curls. Delmer saying I should grow my hair as well. There's our friend Frank Fritz. New Year's Eve, 2010, 9 years ago. Crazy. Time flies. Frank's always invited on the show. If he just showed up while we had a guest on, I would boot somebody off the show for Frank Fritz. So, all right. Thanks for watching Hy-Vee today. We'll see you on Monday live at 8:30. I appreciate y'all for watching this very much. It's a pleasure to do this show. And we're almost at our 1-year anniversary. So stay tuned for that when Ryan Broderson jumps out of a cake, February 5th, 1-year anniversary. Jumps out of a cake and right into Dr. Jerry Reeby, who will be on our show. He was our very first guest. He'll be here on the anniversary. Ryan Broderson jumping out of a cake right onto the table. It'll be a sight to see. Won't you be here? That's it. We got to go. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Get your shovel ready because it's going to snow. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community. Questions, comments, know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.